Obi.
Oh.
Mawashi.
Mawashi.
All right. All right. P had to be what?
4. I mean, bigger. P has to be
Less than or greater than 4?
Greater. This way.
Less than 4. B. P had to be less than 25/8. C. He waited patiently. I just gave check pluses to like the whole class. Everybody's got an answer here. What is it?
C has to be greater than plus or minus 32.
Greater than plus or minus the square root of 32. Now you could have simplified that, of course, to 4 root 2. But I don't. That's good enough. And D.
P is greater than 2 over 3.
2 over 3.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was scaring me.
P is greater than 2/3. Anybody need to see any of them? Going once? Going twice?
Going thrice.
Third and final? All right. Sweet. That makes a guy happy. No real roots. A. Who has something for A? M is greater than 9. B.
Oh, okay. Never mind. M is less than 2.
Yeah, M is less than 2, but it also has to be greater than -2. Because if you go below -2, when you square it, it's going to be the same values as bigger than 2. Does everybody understand that? Does everybody understand that? Because M, once you go down here, right? What about C? Nobody?
M
Guess I have to go over C.
is greater than 16 over
16/3. And D?
M is greater than 12.
M is greater than 12. Anybody need to see those? See? Okay. So I only care about the discriminant, yes? And since it has no real roots, my discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, must be less than 0, yes? So in C, I have 8 squared minus 4 times what's A? What's A? 3m. And what's C? 1. So I don't need to write it, right? So 64 minus 12m has to be less than 0, yes? Right? So negative 12m has to be less than negative 64, yes? Divide by negative 12, divide by negative 12. Hey, Jazzkarn, what happens to the sign now? Why? What? No. Hey, Heyman, why does this sign flip? I'm doing this on purpose, of course. Why? It does change. It flips. Why? I know you don't know because you're talking to Jazzkarn instead of listening to me. It flips because you've divided by a negative number. You said because you turned it positive. Oh, okay. 64 over 12, which of course simplifies to that. Good? Everybody else is good?
Yeah.
Lovely. And finally, A, B, C, D. 2 equal real roots. Go. What's A?
K equals 25.
25. What's B?
K equal 9 over 8.
9/8 was C.
K equal plus or minus root 15.
Plus or minus root 15. And what's D?
K equals 3 over 4.
3 over 4. I have negative 3 over 4.
Oh, yeah, negative. Sorry.
Okay. Everyone is okay there? Yeah? Excellent. And now the actual really hard question, the only one that's really hard. What's the answer?
Q is less than negative 1, I think.
Okay, so you have Q equals, or Q is less than negative 1, yes?
Yeah.
So negative 1, negative 2 should work, right? So let's check. 4, or B squared minus 4AC, to have no real roots would have to be less than 0, correct? Negative 2 is Q, so that would be negative 2x squared plus 8x, right? Plus 5 minus 2, which is plus 2, yeah? So it would be negative 2x squared plus 8x plus 7, yeah? B squared is 64 minus 4. Minus 4 times minus 2 is positive 8. 8 times 7 is 56. 64 minus 56 is 8. Is 8 less than 0?
No.
No. So it can't be less than negative 1. Does everybody see what I did there? How I checked it? Ayaka said Q could be less than negative 1. So I just chose any number less than negative 1 and plugged it in. Does everybody understand that? You can always check if you've done your work right. Always in this unit. What did you have, Rena? You had plus 1. So you have less than 1. Q can be less than 1. So what's the first easy number less than 1?
2.
Less than 1.
Sorry.
0. So that would be 0x squared minus 0x plus 5, right? So B squared is 0. Minus 4 times 0 is 0 times 5 is 0. Is 0 less than 0? It's equal. So, let's have a look at this situation. What do I have here? I need B squared minus 4AC to be less than 0. Yes, to have no real roots. Agreed? What is B right now?
4Q.
4Q. What is 4Q squared?
16Q squared.
4Q squared, which is 16Q squared, minus 4, what's A?
Q.
Q, and what's C?
5 minus Q.
5 minus Q, correct? Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this right here? What's 4 times Q?
4Q.
4Q. What's 4Q times 5?
20Q.
Minus 20Q. And what's 4Q times Q?
4Q squared.
Plus 4Q squared, yes? Because negative, negative. Everybody cool? Okay, what do you see there and there? They're like terms, right?
So it's 12.
So I have,
Q squared.
no, 16 plus 4.
Oh, so 20Q squared.
20Q squared minus 20Q has to be less than 0, yes? What do you see that you can do there? You take out 20Q, yes? And what does that leave you with? Q minus 1, correct? Has to be less than 0. Is everybody still okay with me? All right, so once we're here, this has to be what? To make this less than 0, these have to be negative, don't they? So either 20Q has to be less than 0. What's the only way to solve that? How do I get rid of this 20?
Divide.
Divide. So Q has to be less than 0, yes? Okay. And? Or Q minus 1 has to be less than 0. So Q has to be less than 1, yes?
Yeah.
Is everybody cool with that? Okay. So we know that 0 didn't work. Did it? So it can't be less than 0 because 0 didn't work. Does 1 work? Check. What's 1 squared? 1. What's 4 times 1? What's 5 minus 1? 4. 4 times 1 is 4. So is 1 minus 4 less than 0? So 1 works, but 0 didn't. So put that on a number line. There's 0. Did 1 work? We just proved 1 worked. 1 was okay, wasn't it? Did 0 work? No. So 0 didn't work. Right? So that means only in there did. Q has to be greater than 0, but less than or equal to 1. You all know how to do that from previous math classes. You all know what a number line is. You all know how to put dots on it. Everybody cool? And if you're unsure still, what do? Check. What's a number that's right in the middle there? 0.5, right? Easy peasy. What's 0.5 squared?
1.
No. 1/4.
Oh, yeah.
What's 4 times 1/4? 1. 4 times 1/4 is 1, right? 5 minus 1/4 is 3 1/4, or 4 3/4, right? 4 3/4 times 1 is 4 3/4, isn't it? So 1 minus 4 3/4, is that less than 0? Please don't look at me blankly when I ask if 1 minus 4 is less than 0. What should I see 30 heads doing right now? Nodding. So does that point work? So that means all of them work. Everybody good? That is why it is called an exam-style question. You are in pre-calculus 11. I can only assume because you expect to be going ahead in math, which means you are going to be getting further and further from real-life situations and further into theoretical situations like this. Okay? If you were not in this class to go ahead in some sort of post-secondary math education, you were in this class because it is some kind of prerequisite for future use, yes? You want to be a nurse or something. The reason that this class is a prerequisite for a great many courses is because you have to be able to logically work out things like this based on a certain set of rules, just like reality. Right? Okay. Now, as I was saying, I want to go over your cumulative, and I want you guys to do some more practice. So, I'm not going to teach anymore. You are going to do for, today is Tuesday.
Yeah.
You are going to have this ready to go for Wednesday. It is page 92 to 93. It is like 5-6 questions. But before we do that, I'm going to go over your cumulative exam. And I'm going to explain exactly how it affects